Alright, this is section 21. Solve x squared plus bx plus c by factoring. Now, I'll talk you through this a step at a time. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the problem on the board first. At that point, I'll pause for a second, giving you a chance to pause the computer if you would like. You can solve it on your own first, and then you can check the answer with me, because I'll go through and I'll explain the steps all the way through. So that way, rather than you just sitting there and watching me do it, take the time, do the problem first if you can, then watch my explanation to make sure you're getting it correct. So let's start. Number 1. I have x squared plus 10x plus 24 equals y. Alright? Maybe hit pause for a second here, see if you can solve it first. Now, what we're looking for, in case you've forgotten, maybe you had a hard time understanding the notes, we're looking for this. I want to break this into two binomials. I already know that each binomial is going to have x in the front. Here's how I know that. When we do FOIL, remember, first, outside, inside, last. When you do FOIL, when you multiply these two together, they give me this here. So these have to be x and x in order to get x squared. What I'm looking for now are the two numbers in the back. There should be a number here and a number here. And when these two numbers get multiplied together, they have to equal this number. When these two numbers get added together, they must equal this number. Alright? So, what could be an easy way to do this is to start with this last number here. First, think of all the different ways that you can multiply to make 24. I could do 1 times 24. I could do 2 times 12. 3 times 8. 4 times 6. That's all of them. From here, I want to decide which one of these groups can I get a 10 when I add the numbers together. So, 1 and 24 will not give me 10. 2 and 12 could give me 10 if the 2 is negative and the 12 was positive. But, remember, when they multiply, they have to give me a positive 24. And so if I had a negative 2 and a positive 12, that would not give me positive 24. 3 and 8 won't work. 4 and 6. 4 and 6 are the only two numbers. If these are both positive, positive 4 and positive 6, a positive 4 and a positive 6 will give me a positive 10 when I add them. A positive 4 and a positive 6 will give me 24 when I multiply them, positive 24. So these are the two numbers I want to use. So I plug them in, x plus 4 and x plus 6. The reason why I say plus 4 and plus 6, since I decided that I need a positive 4, this has to be plus 4. And since this has to be positive 6, this has to be plus 6. If the numbers were negative, then these would be minus. But since the numbers are positive, these are plus. Now, I have not solved my equation yet. These are my factors. I'll set it equal to y just to show it still equals y. These are my factors. That's all I've done so far is I took this and I factored it into this. I want to solve it now. In order to solve it, I take each binomial and I set it equal to 0. This gives me x equal to negative 4. This gives me x equal to negative 6. These are my solutions. So remember, this is factoring. This is solving. Let's move on to another one. So, number 2. X squared plus 13x plus 40. Go ahead and pause it for a second if you'd like to see if you can solve it on your own. Now, what we're looking for again. I'm looking for 2 binomials. Both of them have to have x. I'm looking for the numbers in the back. Looking for this number, looking for that number. Start with this, because remember, the 2 numbers in the back, when you multiply these together, they must equal 40. So let's start thinking of all the numbers you can multiply to make 40. I got 1 times 40, I got 2 times 20, 4 times 10, 5 times 8. I think that's all of them. Now, these 2 numbers, when you add them together, must equal 13. So I need to figure out which one of these groups will give me a 13 when I add them. So, 1 and 40? No. 2 and 20? No. 4 and 10? No. 5 and 8? Yes. If I have a positive 5 and a positive 8, when I add those together, positive 13. When I multiply them, positive 40. So this will be plus 5 and plus 8. From there, I have found my factors. Now let's go ahead and solve it. Take the binomial, set it equal to 0. So then x equals -5, x equals -8. So here are my solutions. And let's do this really quick. How to check, or actually what the solutions mean. Because some of you might wonder at this point, well, what do the solutions mean again? Well, let's recall. Solutions are the value of x that make y equal 0. So right now, these 2 numbers here, -5, -8, if I plug either one of these numbers in for x in my original equation, it will make the whole thing equal 0. Let's check it out. So again, my solutions are x equals -5 and -8. I'm going to go ahead and take the -5, plug it in. So parentheses to the second power, plus 13, parentheses, plus 40. Again, I use the parentheses in place of my variables. -5, I'll start with that one. If I take -5 and plug it in, -5, -5. -5 to the second power gives me positive 25. This is going to give me -65 plus 40. 25 plus 40 gives me 65, so I get 65 minus 65 equals 0. This answer is correct. Let's try the -8. If I plug -8 in, -8, -8, it should still give me 0. -8 to the second power, 64. Negative times positive makes negative. This should give me 104. Is that correct? Yes. Plus 40. 64 plus 40 gives me 104 minus 104 equals 0. So both of these solutions, when you plug them in, make the whole thing equal 0. That is why we call them solutions, because the solution is the value of x that makes the whole thing equal 0. Moving on to number 3.